What's going on today, guys? So I'm almost done with Blockbuster Weekend. The only film I need to review next is Independence Day. But today I'm going to be talking about Michael Bay's best movie ever, The Rock. Rewatching it was just a blast. It's just simply a really awesome movie. So let's talk about it. And there are going to be some brief spoilers in this review, so if you have not seen The Rock, please go watch The Rock and come back to this review. In this film, a very angered, very broken general, played fantastically by Ed Harris, decides to invade and kidnap people on Alcatraz Island, and he threatens the entire San Francisco area by threatening to launch chemical missiles which could destroy the entire city. And it's up to a chemical weapons specialist, played by Nicolas Cage, a whole team of Navy SEALs, and of course, the one and only Sean Connery, in order to stop him. Now, in the 1990s, Michael Bay was a big director. He had previously made the film Bad Boys, which was a hit that put Will Smith on the map for action films, and it was just somewhat of a well-directed movie, but a lot of people disliked the film. After The Rock, everyone was excited for his next movie, because The Rock is not only an explosive movie, but it actually has character. It's got developments. It's got people you actually really care about in these situations, because I think the cast in this movie is near perfect. Nicolas Cage stars in this movie before he became the Nicolas Cage that we all pretty much laugh at today. I think he did a great job in this movie. His character's name is Stanley Goodspeed, where if you take one O for it, it's Godspeed. And I just think that Nicolas Cage did a great job. Nicolas Cage is just a fun actor. I don't hate Nicolas Cage at all. In fact, whenever he's in a movie, like no matter what it is, I'll probably end up seeing at least some of it because he's entertaining to me. Even when he's doing a rant or when he's trying to be serious, it's always fun to watch Nicolas Cage. Something that's great is, just like Will Smith, Nicolas Cage was not known for doing action films at all. He was doing dramas or comedies, but Michael Bay really brought him into the spotlight, and it proved that Cage could do action. And then he starred in 2 ridiculously stupid movies the next year. Many of the characters in this movie can be viewed today as cliches, but back in the 90s, these were characters that felt new, they felt fresh. They felt like characters you could really get behind. And Nicolas Cage is a character that you could really get behind. He had a wife who's having a baby, and yes, that is definitely a cliche today. This movie also has Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese, and Colonel Hicks from Aliens is also in this movie, and he's a Navy SEAL. Yes! Thank you, Michael Bay. It's like he's not even playing a character. He just does it so well, and he's just so believable at it. But let's be real, guys. The best actor in this movie is, without a doubt, Sean Connery. The character of Mason is a very complicated one, where they held him without trial. And you can understand why he's angry and tries to throw off that douchebag agent off the roof. But you understand his character. He's not really a bad person. Yes, he is somewhat of an ex-con, but he did work on Her Majesty's Secret Service, just like, of course, 007 did, but that's beside the point. My point is that Sean Connery in this movie, I think, is perfectly cast. There really isn't a single problem I have with his character whatsoever. I just think he's well fleshed out. They all really are. I liked all the characters. They're all very memorable. Now, guys, I cannot go any further without talking about that kick-ass score by Hans Zimmer. My God. The score in this movie is phenomenal. If you listen to the score itself without the movie, it sounds so good. I think the movie would be 70% if it wasn't without its beautiful score. It just orchestrates the entire thing. It really personifies a lot of the characters and their emotions throughout the sequences. It truly is beautiful to listen to. And if you listen very carefully during the Modern Warfare games, you can tell that they actually use some of that music, or they remix some of that music to be in the games. If you have watched or played the mission in Modern Warfare 2 where they enter the building, and they have to deploy green smoke at the top of the building, that's a lot like The Rock. This movie has an insanely awesome car chase through the city of San Francisco. It was so beautiful. And when you find out the hardships it took to shoot that scene, it just becomes 10 times better, because Michael Bay had to be really careful about what he would blow up, because we all know Michael Bay blows up everything in his movies. And while you could say the movie definitely enforces patriotism and fighting for our country and America and stuff, I feel like that's what the movie was made for. It's an American-made film, and I think that it's truly great. It is a badass prime example of how The Rock really influenced pop culture, because a lot of the missions in the Modern Warfare games and a lot of Call of Duty games were heavily influenced by this movie. Also, The Rock has, without a doubt, the best shower room fight scene I have ever seen in my life. This movie also has some great tension. There's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of build-up. It's not just all explosions and stuff, and when there is explosions, it's all done extremely well. The fight sequences are all great. They're really well directed. Michael Bay doesn't do any of that shaky cam crap stuff that he does in all those stupid Transformers sequels. This movie, yes, at times it's very unrealistic, and I get that. But a lot of times, it does feel pretty grounded, and I think it's Michael Bay's most grounded film to date. This film is also really funny. It's got some great jokes in it. When you have a movie that's funny, that contains suspense, that has awesome action, and it blends it in so well to make a very compelling story, filled with, yes, some patriotism, but filled with great characters that you can actually care about, who are actually very well developed, and you really feel for them throughout the entire situation. In the scene where Ed Harris decides not to launch the missiles, it's so powerful because, yes, his motivations have shifted, but he realizes, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be fighting for my country, and I'm trying to destroy it. Now, I can't go any further without talking about the very end of the film where Nicolas Cage has to deploy that green smoke. Oh, man. Every shot in this scene just is awesome. It's something that Michael Bay forgot to do. It's to make awesome sequences. Now, yes, guys, there are some of the cliche Michael Bay shots where the characters get out of cars and camera pans up, but there's no useless sexual, camera panning up a woman's butt or something. There's none of that stuff in this movie, and that is a plus. Because every other Michael Bay movie has a shot like that. That's so ridiculously stupid. But The Rock knew that, yes, it did have some unrealistic moments, but when it took itself seriously, towards the end of the film, it was awesome. And just, you guys have to watch this moment.
12 seconds. TLT, 10 seconds. Stay tight, gentlemen. I got green smoke.
Guys, you know I love this movie. I absolutely love everything about The Rock. If I could pick one flaw in this movie, I would probably just say that some of the characters can't come off as cliches. And yes, there are some cliched Michael Bay shots that we do kind of criticize in his later films. That aside, I love everything else about The Rock. It's not just a great action movie, but a great film, with having great characters who are developed, awesome action sequences, tension, and comedy, all wrapped through it, and it's all blended together so well. Guys, you never thought I would ever hear me say this about a Michael Bay film, but he did a spectacular job. And rewatching this movie, guys, I loved it so much. And you know what, guys? The Rock gets an A+. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hear a lot of disagreements about how I can give this movie an A+, when you said a couple flaws were in it. This is one of those few movies, guys, where the flaws in the movie simply don't bother me. Because the story's so good, and the characters are so great, and sometimes that really can outweigh a lot of flaws in films. Even though I know they're there, I still loved every second of The Rock, guys. So what do you guys think about The Rock? I'd love to hear all those comments, so send them in the comment section below. And guys, thank you so much for watching my reviews as always. My last review is going to be for Independence Day, because why not? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned.